Hey guys, it's Ron from Makata USA, and I'm gonna do my second video on how to set up basically a Nitro for the V-bar governor. The helicopter setup is obviously the same. There's nothing different between the two helicopters except a few linkage things depending on what kind of helicopter you have, and obviously the power plant. Nitro uses an internal combustion motor, so there's a few things that you must do, and a few things to change in order for you to get your governor to work like it should. So I'm going to show you how I do the setup, how it goes through, and how we do a basic setup for Nitro, and you can see how all the linkages work and how everything is supposed to go. So I'm already connected to my helicopter and bound. This is my Synergy N5C. And you can see I'm already connected. You can see the voltage for the battery packs and everything else on the front. And I got a few other icons on here, which is kind of cool. I want to show you a few things at the end, and I'll show you some really cool stuff you can do. So, to enter the setup, you slide over, you get over to the setup, and you scroll down to model setup, and then edit model setup. When you do this, you got to make sure the stick is all the way down, and then it'll give you start. I got to turn your motor switch off too.
Head speed
and then
0
it'll allow you
RPM.
to turn
Receiver 7.5
this
volt.
button will become live, so you can start
Governor
editing.
11%.
You click it, and then all the
Battery voltage 0 volt.
other
Motor off.
options for model setup are there for you. So you can actually scroll down to you do everything you normally do for a setup. You set it up. You go through the whole setup, wires, setting up your swash plate, your trims, and all that stuff, just like we talked about before on the other helicopters. But this is where we're going to go through. The last part is the part that makes the most sense, because it's obviously for governor for Nitro. So if you see the V-bar governor is what I have selected, but if you want to go through, you would actually go and select a V-bar Nitro governor, which is down here on the bottom. You have to have the Pro software in order to get the Nitro governor. You get an electric governor for free with Express, but you have to have the Pro software to get the Nitro governor, Pro or Pro Rescue, either one comes with it. So you select a Nitro governor. So let's say if I select the external, and it would send the data to that, and then I would go through and set stuff up here. But that's not what I want. You can hear the server's buzzing. So we go back to the Nitro governor, select that, and then it's going to pull up the Nitro gear stuff. All right, next thing you got to do is set your endpoints. You hear my throttle servo over there buzzing a little bit, okay? So you select it, and then you get your stop and your start. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make my collective run the direct throttle, so it makes it easy for me. You turn your motor switch on.
Head speed 0 RPM. Receiver
you move your stick up to where it is.
Governor
now,
0%.
You hear
Battery
the servo
voltage
buzzing.
0 volt.
So it's past
Motor on.
the full open position, and it's making too much noise. So what I need to do is I can go down here, and I can go to the full open position, which it is. I can adjust it down until it quits buzzing. It's about 88. Okay, 88 or 90, somewhere around that. 88 seems the most happy. 87, 88. Okay, and then you want to do the negative side. Okay, so now you just move your stick to the bottom. Okay, you hear buzzing. You want to adjust your throttle on the bottom to where it stops buzzing. It's going to be about 85. Okay, and the next thing you want to do is you want to check and see that you have full throttle open and closed. Okay, so I'm going to go here to my you can see my barrel. That guy is fully closed, and then when I go open, it's fully open. It's kind of hard to see with that shadow, but it is directly on the full barrel open position. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I hear it kind of buzz a little bit more, so I'm going to change that one more time. Bring it down a couple of points. So 85. Okay, open, close. It's still buzzing a little bit. So 82. Open, close, open, still not quite happy, so we'll move that down a little bit. Perfect, there we go. Now, fully open, fully closed. A little bit of upsetness, but not a lot. 83. Sounds good. Okay, now, fully closed, fully open, no barking. Okay, now you notice my endpoints are within 10 points. That means the linkage length and the ball spacing between the carburetor and the servo are correct. So does it have to be within 10 points? No. But is that the preferred method in order to get the correct servo throat, the correct geometry? Yes. Just like you do with the cyclic on head, if you're going to set a helicopter up, you might as well set it up right. Take the time to adjust your linkages to get everything within 10 points. That way you absolutely know you have no geometry issues. Okay, so now I'm done with that. So I'm going to turn the collective off for doing enabling, and I'm done. Now if I had to, there's one thing I forgot to show you. If you wanted to reverse the servo, you just click on this guy, you reverse the servo, and then the negative is a negative, positive to positive. But we're not doing that, so we put it back to where it was. Okay. The next thing is the gear ratio. When you select your gear ratio, depending on the type of magnets you have, on this guy, I have a Futaba BPS1. It's a backplate sensor, so it needs to see, it's just going to be one pole pair, just like the Spectrum sensor is going to be one pole pair as well. If you have magnets on like if you get the Bell, you have magnets on these guys like this, and you have the multi-gov sensor or something like that, you can set them both north, or one north, one south, but you just have to adjust your numbers to make sure you understand which one it is. So if you have one up, one down, that means it's only seeing one magnet, just put it as one. If you have them both up, then you just set them both to 2, so it sees twice the amount of inputs in order to adjust the gear ratio what it needs to be. So in order to put your gear ratio in, I already know what mine is because it's 8.516. All you do is click on ratio and you type it in, whatever it is, and hit enter. Okay, good to go. So the gear type is non-Mikado heli, because if you do, Mikado helicopters obviously have different gear ratios, so you have to actually manually put it in. That's why it says non-Mikado heli. Okay, so that's your basic setup for the governor. Now here's where we get a little interesting. A lot of people always complain about not being able to get
Head speed 0 RPM. Receiver 7.4 volt. Governor 50%. Battery voltage 0 volt. Motor idle. Motor off.
Okay, so now people complain about, hey, how come I can't get the idle on to be able to make the adjustments? So there's a couple of different things you can do. You can hit the modify, which is I actually left up here on my front screen. I actually moved it to the screen so you can see it. But let's say you want to make it the potty front. Let's do the trim up here on the one up here on the top right. This one right here. So you say trim top right is the one you want to do. You click on that guy, and what do you want to adjust on that guy? You scroll on down to Nitro Idle and hit it, and every time you adjust it up and down, you see the idle changing. Okay, so let's put it back to where it was, which was 13, and then I'll be happy to keep it where it was. Okay, all right, so but there's actually an easier way to do this, which is really cool. Something else you can do on the VControl Touch, which is really, really awesome. You can edit the screen to just put the Nitro on the front screen if you want to see it. Okay, the Nitro Idle. So all you do is you come down here, you hit edit. Okay, and then you click and you hit new, and then you ask what do you want to adjust at that point. So you go down 3-bar heli connected, and you scroll down to Nitro Idle right here, and then you put it where you want it to be. You hit it right there is where I want it. It's done. And you get done, you hit save and exit, or save and return. Done. Now your idle's on the front screen, so all you do is tap it, and you can move the idle to wherever you want it to be, and it's always there for this model. So you never have to worry about your idle being somewhere else. Whenever you program the helicopter comes on, the idle will be on the front screen, which is really cool. Okay, so here are your head speeds that you can see from before, just like the other setups. But some guys wanted to see like some basic adjustments. Okay, so I'll show you a few things as well. You go to these are just the like the flight parameters, the collective curve if you want to set a separate one for different banks and things like that, especially for Nitro. And then you got your governor. Okay, so these are the head speeds, these are the gains, and here's the Nitro Idle again, the collective add, and these are all this thing that you have above and beyond as far as the governor adjustments. The collective add is how much basically more throttle it's going to give every time you make a collective move. So how I adjust this. First of all, you set your main gain. You set the head speed to whatever you want it to be. You go into a hover, and then you adjust your gain until where it holds that head speed basically really solid. It doesn't make any fluctuations, no weird stuff going on. You can make small movements, and it doesn't go up or down. If you hear it oscillating up, then you have a little too much gain. If you hear it oscillating downwards, then you don't have enough. So you want to keep that the same. Then you want to adjust what I do is my collective add. So this is when you like start doing pitch pumps, anything hard move up or down, and hard moves that are sustained, not something just like a pop. You want to do something like a hard move that's sustained, and that's where you adjust your collective adds for each bank. So what I do is if I hear the head speed dropping, you raise the collective add up until it stops dropping through that collective move. If it gets too high, you'll hear the motor kind of wing. It'll kind of overrun, over rev, and do things like that in collective, which you don't want to do. You just want enough collective add in there in order to be able to sustain a stable head speed. Now, cyclic add, and of course this is with each bank. Bank 2, bank 3, you're going to change
bank
whatever
3.
you want. Cyclic
Bank
add.
1.
Same thing, same idea. You want to adjust the cyclic add. If you got the ability to do TikToks, or if you want to do rolls, if you guys are sport flyers, whatever you do, rolls will also work. And you adjust the cyclic add until it holds or maintains a solid head speed with the cyclic add as well. Okay. Collective dynamic. This is when you want to get on some pops. You want to start doing some hard moves, some quicker, harder collective things, because it's more of a momentary thing when you do the collective dynamic, how much it adds to the governor in order to keep the head speed consistent. That's what that guy's for. Basic throttle is the bottom part of the curve. The integral, that's parts of the control loop inside the V-bar. The I gains, the P gains, and the D gains. Integral, proportional, and differential. I'm going to go over those things in a completely separate video because I think it takes a little bit more in order to get those things completely understood how they work. But I'm going to go over those as well. Typically, if your governor is set up properly and everything is running like it should, then you shouldn't have to touch any of these gains. However, there are times where you do, and there's times that making those adjustments will make a difference, so I'll go over those in a different one. Autorotation idle, obviously that's how much you can set up for your idle and auto rotations whenever you come out of, you go to throttle hold or motor off position, which the motor is still idling, but you can, not motor off, I apologize, into the middle position, which is auto rotation bailout arming, which is what Mikado calls motor idle. And that'll allow you to have as much as you want or a little as much, keep the blades running or not. The run-up limits, how fast it does, how fast you spool up after you hit the motor switch from direct throttle to whatever bank you want to be in. Minimum throttle is another part of the curve as far as that's concerned, and direct throttle off is that's kind of a cool thing. You can decide which bank you want to assign it to and make whatever that bank to be the direct throttle bank. So if you want direct throttle bank to be bank 1, so whenever you go to bank 1 and you have your
head
switch on,
speed 0 RPM.
it goes up and
Receive
down with
7.5 volt. Governor
that's your normal mode. A lot of guys wonder where that was.
Battery
that's your
voltage
normal mode.
0
That's where
volt.
that goes.
Motor
And then you have banks 2 and 3 that you change your head speeds on. And so bank 1 will still have a head speed assigned to it, and at the max throttle position, theoretically it's supposed to be at that head speed, but you don't want to fly in normal mode. It's only designed to really get you off the ground and get you in the air and then fly in one of the other 2 banks. Nitro motors have a problem that electric motors don't. They can load up and shut off. And if you're in normal mode, you can actually ease up on the throttle, get off the ground, clean off the motor, and be able to do what you want to do. So those are the basic setups for the Nitro governor. Everything above and beyond that is just regular tuning, just like the setup for any other helicopter. Nitros are a little bit different because it's an internal combustion motor, but once you get the motor running well and you get the governor flying like it should, it's very consistent. It works extremely well. And VControl Touch has also given you a couple more things to allow you to be able to get some niceties, whether if you want to adjust the throttle by the potties up top or if you want to put it on the front screen and see it here. So that's the second video, and if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, or call me at Mikado USA for the tech support. And of course, I answer video questions on YouTube as well. Thanks for watching.